The days following Robert's funeral blurred into a rhythm of watchfulness and unease. Evelyn and I kept to a delicate balance, visible enough to avoid suspicion, but quiet enough to conceal our search. Yet secrecy is a fragile cloak, and I felt its edges fray with every step we took through Ashford. On the morning of the third day, Evelyn suggested we walk beyond the town center, toward the mills.
If Robert wrote smoke, it may not only mean the trains.
She reasoned, her voice clipped as she adjusted her black bonnet.
The mills belch enough to choke the river. Perhaps that was his trail.
We set off along the dirt road, leaving behind the bustle of the station. The air shifted as we approached the outskirts. Ash gave way to the sharper scent of burning coal, and a haze hung low, clinging to the fields. The land here bore scars of progress, timber stripped bare, riverbanks gouged by the constant feeding of furnaces. The first mill loomed ahead, a grim brick structure with tall smokestacks stabbing the gray sky. Its windows glowed faintly with the light of molten steel, and the clanging rhythm of machinery pounded like a great iron heart. Workers shuffled in and out, men with hollow cheeks, their lungs already blackened by the soot. Evelyn gripped her shawl tighter as a cart rattled past us, stacked high with crates stamped only with a number. No company name, no city of origin. I noted it immediately.
Suspicious?
She asked, watching my gaze. Too much so, I muttered. Merchants don't send goods unmarked. They want credit. This is meant to disappear into anonymity. We circled the mill slowly, feigning curiosity like travelers passing through. But I studied every angle. The guarded entrances, the crates being loaded into covered wagons, the quiet signals exchanged between foremen and armed men who did not look like laborers. At one point, a guard caught sight of us, his stare fixed too long, his jaw too tight. Evelyn felt it too. I sensed her stiffen beside me. I guided her casually toward a group of townsfolk unloading supplies nearby, blending ourselves into their chatter until the man's gaze drifted elsewhere. Only when we had put distance between ourselves and the mill did Evelyn breathe again.
You saw it, didn't you? They were guarding something.
I nodded grimly. And they were not hired to guard steel. Whatever Robert uncovered, it lives inside those walls. We returned to the inn under a veil of silence, both of us burdened by what we'd seen. Evelyn's composure held, but in the dim lamplight of the common room, I caught the tremor of her hand as she poured herself tea. She masked it quickly, steadying the cup before anyone else could notice. That evening, as rain began to lash the windows, Evelyn joined me at the table where I had spread out my notes. She leaned closer, her face pale but resolute.
Thomas, we cannot linger at the edges. We need to know what's inside.
Her words echoed the thought I had been circling since morning, though hearing them aloud filled me with both dread and a strange, guilty admiration. She was her brother's sister through and through, unyielding, unwilling to let fear hold her back. I studied her in silence for a long moment. Candlelight caught in her hair, softening her sternness. She wore grief like armor, but beneath it, a fierce determination blazed. You realize what you're asking, I said finally. An entry into that mill means stepping past the point of no return. If we are caught... She met my eyes squarely.
If we do nothing, Robert's death becomes meaningless.
The rain thickened, drumming on the roof. I folded my notes and leaned back, torn between my vow to protect her and the truth in her words. My profession had trained me for danger, but Evelyn had not sought this path. She was thrust into it by loss, yet she faced it with a strength that humbled me. Then we'll need a plan, I conceded. Her eyes softened, just faintly, in gratitude.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. That night, sleep evaded me. The inn was quiet, save for the storm groaning against its timbers, but my mind roared louder than the thunder. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Robert's face, half in shadow, warning me with the words of his final letter, "Follow the smoke." When at last I drifted into a restless doze, I dreamed of trains roaring into the night, each boxcar filled with whispers and unseen eyes. At the end of the rail stood Evelyn, her figure veiled in morning black, waiting. No matter how fast I ran, I could never quite reach her. The morning dawned gray and sodden. Mud swallowed the streets and the air smelled of damp ash. Evelyn and I dressed plainly, as inconspicuous as possible, and made our way toward the mills once more. The workers trudged in under heavy skies, their expressions resigned to another day of labor. We blended into the flow, careful not to draw attention. I carried a ledger beneath my arm, an old investigator's trick to appear like a man on official business rather than a stranger loitering. Evelyn kept close, her shawl drawn over her hair, her eyes lowered. As we neared the side of the mill, I spotted a wagon left unattended, its rear covered with a tarpaulin. Crates, similar to those we'd seen the day before, were stacked inside. A glance exchanged with Evelyn was all it took. We drifted closer, hidden by the line of workers. I lifted the top slightly, just enough to glimpse what lay within. Not steel, not timber. Inside, packed in straw, were rifles, dozens of them. Rifles marked with military insignia, scratched off crudely but unmistakable. My throat tightened. Evelyn inhaled sharply, though she kept her composure. Her lips barely moved as she whispered,
Thomas, they're arming someone.
I lowered the top at once, heart pounding. The pieces began to fit together. Robert's letter, the false uniforms, the guarded shipments. This was no mere smuggling operation. This was a network reaching deep, perhaps all the way into government ranks, and Robert had died for it. I guided Evelyn quickly away, forcing calm into my steps, though my blood surged with urgency. We walked until the mill receded behind us, until only the sound of the river filled the air. Only then did I let the truth fall between us. He was right. The men in uniform, they are no protectors, they are conspirators. Evelyn's face paled, yet her eyes shone with an almost painful clarity.
Then we cannot turn back now.
Her words cut through the morning mist like the toll of a bell. She was no longer only Robert's sister, nor merely a grieving widow. She was my partner now, bound to me by peril and resolve. But in that moment, as I looked at her standing defiantly against the grey river, I knew the road ahead would demand more than resolve. It would demand sacrifice, perhaps hers, perhaps mine, perhaps both. The smoke curled upward from the mill behind us, black and endless. We had followed it as Robert instructed, and now, like him, we had seen too much.